Let's head to Tel Aviv now. That's where we find News Nation's Robert Sherman this morning. Robert, I hear the sirens behind you. What is happening right now where you are?
That gives you an indication of the world that we live in right now, Hannah, which is a new world. This entire region has been bracing for the possibility of escalation between the most powerful military in the world and the Islamic regime in Iran. And people here woke up to the news today of this initial strike being carried out by the United States and Israel. What you're hearing now, the sirens blaring here, this is a part of the retaliation that Iran vowed would happen if they were struck. And they continue to make good on that. You pointed out the map there just a short while ago, as Iran has said that they will carry out and continue to carry out strikes on Kuwait, on Bahrain, Qatar, the United Arab Emirates, Israel. Those have been happening throughout the morning here. We've heard the sound of explosions in the skies. Even when you hear the sirens dissipating behind us here, that does not give the indication that there is an all clear that is on the ground. It remains a highly fluid environment that is here. There you go. There's one explosion in the air beyond us. A very, very dynamic situation in the Middle East that we are currently following right now, in which the government here in Israel is encouraging people to get off of the streets, to stay close to bomb shelters throughout the day, because they don't know what is coming from Iran. They don't know what is coming from the east, that direction that is behind us. But Israel, United States forces in the region, and many of these Gulf states' defenses fully on guard, waiting for the next step in all of this.
For our viewers just joining us, Robert Sherman is live in Tel Aviv. We've heard sirens since he's been on and an explosion behind him. Robert, there was supposed to be more negotiations set to happen this week, and Oman's foreign minister met with Vice President Vance just yesterday. Libby Dean and I were talking about this. She's at the White House covering the angle from there. But how did this escalate so quickly where now we're in the middle? I hear another explosion behind you in the middle of this potential war.
Yeah, not even 24 hours removed from when Vice President J.D. Vance and the foreign minister of Oman met in Washington, D.C. That's important here, Hannah, because Oman has played this key mediating role between both of these sides. And the public posturing that has come out from the mediators here, at least from Oman, is that they had believed that they were closer to a deal than ever before. Of course, that can be a negotiating tactic from the mediating side, or that could be genuine. But the perspective of Oman is that there was the possibility that Iran would be prepared to agree to certain terms that they had not put on the table in the past, whether that was allowing in watchdog groups in order to monitor their nuclear programs or to downgrade the uranium stockpiles they had. Oman's perspective was that these were unprecedented concessions that Iran was willing to make. However, they were not secured yet, and Oman said that they needed more time in order to potentially deliver a deal. To an extent, the potential was for a 3-month timeline, is what the negotiators were calling for. Well, those calls for 3 months within 24 hours were answered by 2 separate operations, Operation Epic Fury from the American side and Operation Lion's Roar from the Israeli side, which are continuing at this hour. Hannah?
Robert, we know Americans have been told for a few weeks now to leave Israel, to leave Iran. Obviously, it's too late now. What are you hearing about the situation on the ground when it comes to Americans?
Well, that's the thing, Hannah, is that while there had been warnings being issued to Americans, we received the sternest warning on Friday, early morning hours Friday, from the U.S. Embassy in Jerusalem, which was telling non-emergency staff members that they were free to go. But if they were going to leave Israel, they needed to do so immediately. That would have been Friday. Well, now you understand why. The airspace above us has already been shut down. At this point, there is no timeline in the foreseeable future in which the airports are going to be accessible. So for some, there's a possibility of getting out of Israel if they so choose through Jordan or Egypt. That's not a very realistic scenario for many that are here in Israel, however, due to the geopolitical dynamic that is within the region. For the time being, many people, especially those Americans who were hoping to get out, their number one conduit to the outside world was just shut down a few hours ago by these operations here. Hannah?
All right, Robert Sherman, please stay safe. Don't go too far. We'll be checking in with you all morning long. Let's bring in Lieutenant